For all my Desperate Housewives fans, especially those of us that ship Mike and Susan really, really hard, this is going to be a treat for you, right? In this Christmas movie that we're about to talk about, Mike and Susan are a couple. So for today's movie, we'll be looking at A Kiss Before Christmas, which is a 2021 movie starring James Denton as Ethan and Teri Hatcher, the Teri Hatcher. Spit some respect on her name, who is acting as Joyce. So basically, the whole plot is Ethan is not happy with his life, gets a Christmas wish, he's transported into another alternate universe where he's more successful but without his family, and he has to figure out how to go back to his original universe. So the movie begins with explaining how Ethan and Joyce met, and they both met in the lobby of where Ethan works.
Hey, you coming up?
Um, Thanks.
Works. Ethan gets into the elevator with Joyce, and the rest is history. 20 years later, they have wonderful children, Trish and Collins. So when Ethan gets to work, he meets Sean, and Sean is basically Ethan's work nemesis, and for really good reasons. This one is very annoying, like wow. And Sean is a contrast to Ethan. Sean basically is a cut corners type of guy, but everyone knows Ethan as a good man. Now the thing about Sean and Ethan, because of Sean's way of doing his work and cutting corners, he rose through the ranks quickly and never fails to remind Ethan how he got to where he was because of who he is. And I think that contributes to Ethan's whole I wish I chose differently and I wish I was the same as Sean, I'd be a better person, right? Both Ethan and Sean have a word with Mrs. Bellingham, who is basically the head hunter of this whole operation. And Sean assures her that his project is done and dealt with, right? But the moment she turns her back, he manipulates Ethan by telling him that he'll give him a reference for a new position that has opened up. All Ethan has to do is get Lottie, who is the third generation newspaper vendor, to vacate that area so that Ethan can put up his building, right? And he tells Ethan to get it done whichever way possible.
She's the last holdout on Bixby.
What's her issue?
Probably the same as everything. Money. She's a third generation newsstand lady, so you know she's not making much these days. All you gotta do is get her to vacate. Just throw words like lawsuit and financial ruin.
That's not how I operate.
You heard about the VP position that opened up, right?
Yeah, I've already been down that road.
Not with my recommendation.
But remember, Ethan is a good, decent man, and Ethan decides to do it his way. Ethan promises Lottie a space in the new construction if she vacates. Sean isn't happy with Ethan because losing this slot means that he's losing rent. Sean manipulates Ethan once again and tells him he's taking over Mrs. Bellingham's position, and if Ethan doesn't fix this, he's not taking Ethan with him, right? Ethan decides to retract his previous offer to Lottie, but is feeling really bad about it. So he decides to call Joyce. When he calls Joyce, Joyce tells him that it's Christmas Eve and that would be such a dick move for him to just retract the offer after promising Lottie the slot in the new construction. So while he's seated at the train station waiting for his train, so Creepy Santa walks in and has a seat. At this point, I don't even know about the alternate universe trope yet, right? And I'm thinking, okay, we're about to get a whole time travel situation, or we're going to get Christmas ghost type of situation, like in the movie A Shoe Addict's Christmas, which I did a review on in video one, so go check that out. Yeah. But we don't travel back in time. We are transported to a whole entire different alternate universe where Ethan is super mega successful, and you can tell because his name is literally on the door of the building. He has a red sports car, he has a fancy house, and you know it's fancy because it has like no walls, it's all just glass. He has a talking espresso machine, so Ethan feels like, yeah, this is the type of life he deserves. So Creepy Santa makes an appearance and Ethan is confused. He's happy his wish came true, but he's wondering where his wife and kids are. Creepy Santa lets Ethan know that his wish has come true, but there's a catch, right? He has to figure out why exactly he's here in this universe. And at that point, I had so many questions. What do you mean what do you mean there's a catch? And he has to figure out why he's here. He's here because you teleported him here into this alternate universe, right?
The next day.
Or else he'll be stuck here with no memory of his original universe. This alternate universe, Ethan has a taste of success and it's wonderful.
Oh my god!
full, but it's also very lonely. So he decides he wants to change that. So he asks his personal assistant to get him an impact assessment on the new project Sean is doing because Sean is shady. The other thing Ethan does is to get his personal assistant to redecorate his office and house because it feels a bit boring and he wants it to be fun and reflect some personality. Ethan was so used to talking to Joyce all the time and asking for her opinions, and he feels like now more than ever he needs to talk to Joyce. In this alternate universe, Joyce is a successful lawyer and she fights for the little guy. So Joyce is basically their enemy, but Ethan has failed to understand this, that in this universe, he's the bad guy, she's the good guy, and like their paths don't cross. So he tries to talk to her, but Joyce is not interested. So he decides to bombard her with gifts. He sends her favorite flowers, he sends her favorite hot chocolate, and then he finds her at a tree lighting ceremony where Ethan decides that he's going to help Joyce win her case against his company. So Ethan confides in Joyce that he's from another universe where both of them are married and they have children. And he wished upon a Christmas wish, and now he's in this alternate universe. Joyce is skeptical, as one would be, but later she agrees because the youth center is more important than Ethan's crazy state of mind. And later, Ethan meets Mrs. Bellingham, who tells Ethan that Sean got his way, kicked Lottie out. Lottie had to move to Mississippi with her kids. And the land he wanted so badly is just sitting there. It's an empty lot now. Mrs. Bellingham lets us know that what Sean does, he buys out the properties and keeps them. She also confesses that she never really liked Sean because of his work ethic and how everyone knew that Sean was not a really good person. And this is an aha moment for Ethan because now he realizes that Sean manipulated him into thinking that he was going to take Mrs. Bellingham's place, and then he made Ethan do all that work for nothing. So Ethan decides that he's going to tell Sean about his plan to fundraise for the youth center so that they can keep it open, and for their new construction they can put it somewhere else. And it goes as much as you'd expect from someone who is so money minded because this is a $1 billion deal. And Sean is like, fuck them kids. This is a $1 billion deal and we don't have time to have feelings right now. So Sean gives Ethan an ultimatum. If Ethan raises $1 million, Sean will back off the youth center and they can construct anywhere else. But if Ethan fails, the construction goes ahead. So as the deadline draws near, we get a visit from Creepy Santa. Creepy Santa makes an appearance, and then for a brief second there, Ethan forgets Trisha. After this episode of his, Ethan decides he needs Joyce. They both decide they need to double their efforts for fundraising because they have to save the youth center. So Joyce and Ethan come up with this plan to have a dinner for their donors, for the kids. So during this donors dinner, Sean gets a minute with Joyce and tells her that everything Ethan has been doing is a PR stunt. Can't believe that Ethan would betray her and the youth center like this. Luckily, they don't drag this whole she's mad at him thing out. He chases after her immediately and he clarifies that this is not a PR stunt and the whole thing about the Christmas wish is true, and they put it behind them. There's a Christmas Eve party hosted by Ethan's company, and Mrs. Bellingham makes an appearance. She donates not $1 but $2 million, which means Ethan and Joyce have reached and surpassed their earlier ultimatum that was given to them by Sean. Things get glitchy there. Ethan loses his memory.
I forgot them.
I know.
All of them.
I saw.
And it wasn't a dream that this time they were just gone.
I'm so sorry, Ethan.
No. No, I can't just lose them. No, they're everything to me. I don't care about the job or the money or
His memory for longer now, and he finally comes to a conclusion that and all Ethan truly wants for Christmas is his family. Him and Joyce kiss, and he wakes up in his original universe and he's glad to be back. Ethan rushes back to the office and faces off Sean and tells Sean that he's not a crook like him and he doesn't cut corners. He's a good, decent person. Therefore, he's not kicking Lottie out and his original deal is going to stand. Mrs. Bellingham hears a commotion and decides to fire Sean because Sean is so after firing Sean, Mrs. Bellingham offers Ethan the position that he really wanted. At first, he's like, no, I couldn't. All I want is my family. Ethan accepts Mrs. Bellingham's offer. He rushes home and he finally supports Joyce's legal dreams. The end. Yeah, so let's talk about the movie. I think the funniest thing is when they used, I don't know if it's AI, CGI, or whatever app they used to de-age Joyce and Ethan at the beginning. They looked like wonky cartoons. It was very weird to look at. That part was so goofy.
Hey, You coming up?
So yeah, I don't know if it was intentional or not, but I enjoyed it regardless. Was I bored? No. Like it's a fine movie. Like it's not good, it's not bad, it's fine. And I don't know if Hallmark just pumps out fine movies, but it was a fine movie. I'm biased because like Teri Hatcher is in this, and anything she's in, I'll watch. Truly and honestly, anything she's in, I'll watch. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section below. And if you have any recommendations on like goofy Hallmark channel movies I should be checking out, leave me a comment. Yeah, that's it. Bye.